A group of people sign up for a game in which they must go through different stages to win a prize. But what these people don't know is that the one who loses is eliminated, but literally eliminated. That's why today, we inaugurate this channel with the story of Squid Game. The story takes place in South Korea. There we know the story of Song Ji-hyun. A guy who has a shitty life, full of debts, and also his mother has diabetes, and his daughter is going to live in the United States. He is always playing gambling games because of this. And there he is betting on a horse race, when suddenly, some guys chase him and beat him up, because it turns out that Song Ji-hyun owes them a lot of money, and if he doesn't pay them, they will kill him. After that, Ji-hyun goes away discouraged, when in the subway he meets the guy from Train to Busan, who offers to play a game with him. And he offers him to play a little game in exchange for money, and Ji-hyun accepts, so they start throwing paper squares and the one who manages to turn over the other one wins. So Ji-hyun loses again and again, and ends up with a red face from so much slapping. But in the end he wins and gets some money and a card with geometric shapes on one side and a phone number on the other. So Ji-hyun calls the phone number and agrees to participate in the game. He gets into a van and is put to sleep, but when he wakes up, he finds himself in a gigantic room where there are a bunch of guys dressed just like him. But since the other participants are of no interest to us, we will focus only on the main characters, and they are Cho Sang-woo, who is a former friend of the protagonist. Jang Deok-soo, what is a mobster with a lot of debt? Oil Nam, who is a very nice old man who, because he has a tumor in his head, enters the game to enjoy his last days of life. Ken Sae Byok, what is a defector girl from the North Korean army? Han Minayo, what is a crazy girl who seeks to survive at all costs no matter what? Abdul Ali, who is a cool Pakistani guy. And, well, it turns out that the participants will have to face different games until there is only one winner. But, in addition, in this game there are 3 rules, which are, the first one, the player cannot stop playing. The second, the player who refuses to participate will be eliminated. The third one, the game is over when the majority agrees that it is over. The first game is green light, red light, or in French, un, deux, trois, soleil. The game is that the participants can move on, as long as the doll doesn't see them, because if it sees them... Yes, it does. In the end, more than half of the participants die, but our protagonists survive. After this, the characters get scared and decide to quit the game, but since they can't do that, they hold a vote to find out if the majority agrees to quit the game. But when they realize that they really need the money, the vast majority decides to come back, and this is where the second game begins. The next game is about extracting some figures from a sugar cookie. Not everything is so easy, because there are 4 possible figures: triangle, circle, star, and the most difficult umbrella. But our protagonist doesn't know this, so he chooses umbrella. The players have only 10 minutes to extract their figurine, but the one who breaks it is eliminated. So our protagonist is about to die, but he realizes that by licking the cookie, it gets wetter and is easier to cut. Seeing this, all the others do it, and in the end, all our protagonists make it out alive. After that, the players realize that if they kill, nothing happens. On the contrary, everything good happens, because the money continues to accumulate. And that's when a pitched battle ensues. Then comes the next game, and in this one, they come in several teams, since they have to compete between 2 teams pulling the rope, and the team that loses is eliminated. The main characters are about to die, but if that happens, the series is over, so they come up with a strategy told to them by that nice old man and manage to save themselves. Ah, but I had not told you, it turns out that while they are participating in little games, there was a policeman who infiltrated this game in order to find his brother, and goes there investigating and discovers that games are organized in which many people die, continues investigating and discovers a network of organ trafficking, and continues investigating and realizes that his brother participated in these games, and was the big winner in 2015. But, well, back to the games, now. The characters must choose a partner to face the next game. View 2. What they don't know is that, with the person they chose, they must face a duel to the death in a little game of marbles. So everyone is stunned and do not know what to do, because for the first time in a game main characters are going to die. So some of them start guessing how many marbles they have. Others start throwing their marbles as far as they can. And others start playing at putting marbles in a little hole in the floor. The point is that this guy is about to die, but he tricks poor Ollie and gives him a bag full of stones, so they kill him. Then, this girl decides to die so that Sae Byak can be saved, since she does have a reason to get out alive. And also our main protagonist is about to die, but he tricks the old man to give him his marbles, but the old man realizes and doesn't want to play anymore. So Song Ji-hun starts begging the old man to finish the game, and at the end, the old man decides to give him his last marble, even though he knows he is going to die, but he does it, and the nicest character dies. After that, the participants come back and find this chick, all happy because she was considered the weakest participant and her life was spared, and also some guys arrive who look super important, because they are all dressed up. For the next game, the participants must choose a vest with a number from 1 to 16, so everyone rushes to choose their number, and only leave the numbers 1 and 16, so our protagonist must choose between being the first or the last, but as they do not know what the game is about, any number can be dangerous, but in the end Song Ji-hun chooses the last one and we move on to the game. And in this one, they find out that the number they chose was to know the turn in which they are going to cross this suspension bridge. View 2, how not everything is so easy and someone has to die. It turns out that on this bridge there are glasses on which they can't stand, because they break and fall into the void. So he goes, the first character, and passes the first glass, View 2, he dies. And the second one goes, View 2, he dies too. And the third one goes, but no, he dies too. But, it seems that this one is going to pass, View 2, he dies too. And so they die one by one, and then, this one knows he might die, so he decides not to go any further, but the crazy woman arrives, and takes revenge on him by jumping into the void together with this guy. Later, this guy happens to work in a glass shop and begins to decipher the glasses in which they can and step on, and those that cannot, but as these gentlemen consider that this is no longer fun, they turn off the lights so he can no longer continue deciphering, View 2, as time is running out. This guy comes and pushes the poor man into the void. So in the end only these three make it through, but the glass starts to explode and our protagonists are very hurt. But above all, the poor girl, who ends up with a piece of glass stuck in her abdomen. So how Song Ji-hun, realizing what his old friend is capable of, decides to join the girl so that they both take care of each other and swear that if either of them wins, he will take care of the other's family. But, as the poor girl is already about to die, Song Ji-hun goes to ask for help with the guards, and when he turns around, he realizes that his friend has died, or rather was killed. So Song Ji-hun gets too angry with his old friend, and now he has to face him in the final game. But first, I have to tell you that the cop who infiltrated managed to escape to a nearby island. And there he is trying to ask for help, but these guys are following him. And when he is about to die, the big revelation comes, and it turns out that his brother is now the boss of this whole organization. So the poor cop stays, and his brother takes the opportunity to kill him. And now, if returning to our main protagonists, it turns out that they have to face each other in the game that gives name to the series, the game of the squid. Due to how I didn't understand the game, and I can't explain it, well, it just turns out that the guys have to beat each other up until one of them dies, or until one of them stands on the squid's head. So yes, the final battle is coming. And our main protagonist is about to win, but decides to quit the game, because he knows he won't be able to deal with the guilt, due to his old friend decides to kill himself because he can't go back to his normal life. And that's how our protagonist wins the game. A year goes by and Song Ji-hun can't deal with the guilt. Plus his daughter has gone to live in the United States and also his mother has died, so Ji-hun hasn't spent the money he won as a prize. So he receives a little card identical to the one he was given at the beginning, and he goes to find out what it is about, and when he arrives, the big revelation comes. But this time it is the big revelation. It turns out that the old man who looked so nice and friendly was the great leader and organizer of these games. But as he knew he was going to die, he wanted to enjoy his last days of life feeling like a child again, and that's why he entered the game. After that, Ji-hun gets a radical change of look, and goes to see Sae Byok's brother, and takes him to his old friend's mother, and then decides to go to the United States. But when he is about to leave, he sees again the guy who recruited him, and who slapped him so hard at the beginning of the series, so he tries to chase him, but he manages to escape. Then he takes the card that the guy had left, and when he is about to get on the plane, he calls the number on the card, and asks if he can participate, but they tell him that it would be better if he gets on the plane, confirming that they are still watching him. So Ji-hun decides not to get on his plane and goes in search of those. And if you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like and all that. Thanks for watching the video.